Hi everyone, welcome to the third episode of the Hashtag podcast. We have Ren today. So Ren, who are you?
Hi guys, I'm the head of content at Hashtag. That's me.
What's that? What do you do as head of content?
We started playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
One hand.
Okay. As head of content, I help visualize and conceptualize content for our clients, of course, with the help of an awesome creative team.
So,
That's basically it.
for people that don't work in agencies or marketing, what does visualizing? I asked Shada, I think, also last episode, but you can tell us again. What does it mean for people that didn't watch the last episode?
So basically, each client has a social media presence, and we help them kind of create the posts and the content that goes on it. So as a creative team, we conceptualize the type of content that's going on for stories, for posts, shoots, trying to come up with creative things and things that, can help with their engagement and with their reach. That's basically it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, not everyone knows this, but you had a funny story of how you came here, how you started your career. So do you want to tell us how you
started my career
Yeah.
or it came at Hashtag?
both, but like specifically the start. It
Okay.
was not the normal route, I would say.
Yeah. So basically, I studied interior design at university in Lebanon. And it was back in 2009, I guess, that I made that decision. And it wasn't like, there wasn't a lot of, talk about social media back then. I think it was just Instagram, like the start of Instagram. Facebook was also there. Snapchat probably as well. But like there wasn't any, brand presence on social media. It wasn't like a marketing thing that brands used to do back then. I feel like really old back then. So I studied interior design, and then I went and then did my master's in London as for product and space design, which was kind of like interior design as well. But there I met a few people who were starting a company back in Lebanon, which was, all about branding and social media. It wasn't just social media, it was branding as well, but with a bit of social media content creation. So I started out with them in Lebanon. They told me that they need someone to create content for them, and that's where I started. Again, back then it was just basically creating posts on Instagram only. There was no boosting, there was no Instagram and Facebook, there was no
No influencers,
nothing like that. So it was just basically designing content on Photoshop and Illustrator, basically. And then after a while, when things started, this is risky. This is very risky. Things started to pick up in social media. I think back in 2016, I applied for a job here at a social media agency. It wasn't Hashtag. I'm not going to mention names, but it was a very it's a very known agency, and it was basically the start of my social media career here, and it was a perfect opportunity for me to learn. I started off as a graphic designer, and I worked also on shoots, art directing, and things like that for 2 years before I came to Hashtag as art director. And yeah.
So you studied interior design, but you never worked in interior design?
No, I never worked in interior design.
Why? Why did you?
Because when I met the people back in London, and they offered me a job, so I'm like, okay, I'll test the waters. But adjacently, so it was a part-time job with them. Adjacently, I was teaching interior design at universities in Lebanon, part-time as well. And then I kind of chose. I saw what I liked more, what felt there's more like a future in. And I felt there's more future in social media, obviously. And that's why I went with that career choice. But yeah, definitely, I didn't work in interior design, but I did teach it for a while. I was a very young university teacher.
So what advice would you give people that want to work in a field that they didn't study?
I mean, honestly, it's all about experience, right? Like, yes, when you're applying for jobs in your domain as well, they ask you for experience, which is unfortunate because as a fresh grad, you don't have experience, right? And that's all they ask for, like experience. But then you're like, where do I get the experience from? I just graduated. So it's very important to actually start working while you're in university as much as possible. And kind of like test the waters in what you really like. You can start with your domain, of course, but then if it's something that you didn't work out, because sometimes when you're studying something, it's different than when you're actually doing it.
That's so different.
So different. So if you don't like it, I mean, it's not the end of the world. You have a diploma. Do something that you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This was a long intro, but
It was.
It's time for today's topic. Actually, that's cheating. Like the first three, you shouldn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put it back.
So today's topic, in any agency, like the two main groups or sections or whatever departments, client servicing and creatives.
Yeah.
Like the creative.
Yeah.
So
the big battle.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. As head of content, I'm in client servicing. How would you describe that? The relationship between creatives and client servicing?
I mean, how it should be versus how it is. For some reason, my S's sound very...
I don't know. We'll find out when we watch when we watch the video.
Okay, so basically, it should be a very nice, smooth dynamic. I mean, we are a team in the end, working in the same company for the same client, right? But unfortunately, what happens is
OCD.
Client servicing kind of tend to want to please the client, which is obviously their job, right? They are the ones who have a closer relationship with the client. They're the ones who want to kind of like be on good terms with them, to retain them and make them happy and everything. So there's always this, I can't touch these, There's always this feeling that client servicing are not doing something in the favor of the creatives, but rather the favor of the client. So there's this feeling, and that's where it starts, I guess, this kind of, battle, this small battle. But in the end, obviously, the creatives should understand that what we're doing is for the benefit of the agency and the benefit of the client, making the client happy, creating awesome content for them. So sometimes we do forget that as creatives, and we feel like, I forgot what I was saying. We feel like you guys are
with the client.
Are with the client rather than with us.
Well, how do you strike a balance? Like how you usually come in, like if you guys don't know Ren, she comes in with like when there's an issue and she's like the diplomatic, she's the diplomatic lawyer or judge that solves issues between creatives and client servicing. So how do you find the balance?
As you said, being diplomatic, trying to find a compromise between the two. Always remind the creatives that it's part of the job to do something. I mean, sometimes what happens is we have to do something or create something that we don't really agree with, but it's something for the client. So we have to remind them that, at the end, it's not, because, creatives are artists, basically, right? We're very artistic, and art is subjective. So what is nice to me may not be nice to you, right? What looks awesome to me may not look awesome to you.
Or to the client.
Or to the client, exactly. So we always have to keep an open mind and remember that the content that we're creating is, for the client's benefit. And then, how in there's always a director's cut in movies? So the director's cut is basically the cut that the director prefers and the one that he thinks is awesome. But there's also the cut that actually goes live, which is the producer's cut, who knows more of what the audience likes to see. And
which is client servicing.
Which is client servicing. So this is what we have to always keep in mind. Yes, when we create content, sometimes we can do it in a way where we love it as creatives, but what we should do is actually do it according to the client. Yeah.
Okay.
And what the client wants.
So what advice would you give to like both creatives and client servicing to like avoid?
For client servicing, they should remember that we're a team and kind of not convince the client when they feel like there's something off with the client's request, if the brief is late, if something is not doable, they should kind of like push back or remind the client that we are the social media experts, right? We are the social media experts. You're here for us. You're paying us. You're paying us, or you're consulting with us because we are the experts. So we need to remind them that, hey, what you're suggesting does not work, or let's find another solution. So there's always this. The client servicing should always remember to kind of have this conversation with the client and not just say yes, yes, yes to everything. You're not their secretary. You're kind of like a consultant, right? That's for the client servicing. And then for the creatives, always remember that yes, art is subjective. You're gonna get opinion, and your opinions are gonna get judged for your content. But do not take it personally, because in the end, the content is not for us; it's for the client, and they're, paying us for a service, and this is the service that we provide according to their needs. And yeah, that's basically it. If you want to do something, or if you believe that something can be done in a nicer way, you can always suggest it. You can show it. But in the end, we will always have to do what the client is requesting. Can I? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Last question.
Okay.
What advice would you give to any like young creative, like anyone that wants to get in this field, like on the creative side? What advice would you give them?
On the creative side?
Yeah.
Be on social media. You cannot do social media if you don't have a presence on social media. You need to know the features of Instagram and Facebook, which is dying, and Reels and TikTok. Even if you don't take part in creating the content on your personal platform or channel or whatever, just be there to understand what's happening and what are the trends. And don't take things personal. When it's so hard, I know it's so hard in the beginning to when you get criticized, to not take things personally. But in the end, remember that you are providing a service for someone who is paying you and charging you, and not creating art for yourself, for personal.
And work in general, like not everything is going to go your way.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I remember like the previous art director that we had in the Saudi office, he told me that in uni, they teach them that they shouldn't get attached to any idea that they have.
Exactly. As creatives in uni, when we get judged, literally, we used to have, I don't know if other majors did that, but like in interior design, we'd put up our stuff and we'd have a panel of judges, and they literally judge you in front of everyone, and they criticize your work, and they make you cry, and it's all, it's all strengthening your personality and your everything.
Does it work?
I mean, I never got criticized in a bad way. I was always like the perfect student. So, but everyone else, I guess, yeah. You learn. It helps you learn.
Okay, last round, and then we end it in case you lose, or it's a
So
draw.
it's my turn, yeah?
Yeah. So let's see. No pressure.
I was about to curse.
No pressure. Yeah, I know.
On live podcast.
I know.
On live podcast.
It's not live though.
I know.
Okay, you didn't lose. Good job.
Wait. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, guys, for watching this. If you watched to this point, see you on the next episode. Cool. Bye-bye.
Bye.